I have been a little bit of an outlier when it comes to managing my personal finances. Not following these popular financial advices allowed me to make my own rules and doubled my net worth in the past year. Today, I'm going to be sharing my philosophies with you and why I do not following those rules. But before we start, I just want to say that personal finance is exactly very personal, and what works for me might not works for you. But I think it's important to question those conventional wisdoms and understand the reasoning behind our financial choices. First one, this is a very popular one: buy a house and do not rent. You probably heard many people saying this: renting is throwing money away, and I have actually consciously choosing to rent instead of buying. Here's why. Let's break down the math. In many high cost of living of cities, including where I am living in the Bay Area, the price to rent ratio make renting financially smarter. For example, in San Francisco, median home price $1.3 million. Monthly rent for a similar property is around $4,000. And on top of that, if you are owning that property, the annual property tax, maintenance, insurance, everything add up will be around $25,000. And sometimes renting and investing the difference in the stock market can build more wealth than you actually buying a home. Because if you look at the stock market in the past 10 years, it has been growing at a much faster rate than what the home price will appreciate. Say 20% of your income. This 20% number is completely arbitrary and it's oversimplified. For example, for someone who makes $30,000 a year, 10% might be too much. For someone who is making $200,000 a year, 20% is probably too little. Instead, I use what I call a lifestyle-based saving approach. When I got my first job and I barely could save any money, 10 to 20% was good enough for me. But every time when I get a raise, when I changing jobs, and I always increase that percentage, and now I am saving over 80% of my total income. Number 3, do not use credit cards. This is a controversial one. A lot of financial experts like Dave Ramsey will ask you to stay away from any form of debt. However, credit cards are just like a tool. The danger is if it's misused. If someone put a purchase on a credit card but knowing they cannot pay the money off, that will be misuse. However, if you use credit cards correctly, and there's a lot of benefit. For example, I put every possible purchases on credit cards, including my rent, and I put that on Belt, in which you can use a credit card to pay for your rent and earn a reward. And I've earned hundreds of dollars of rewards that I can put towards travel or buying stuff, and those are amazing benefits of using credit cards as long as you're paying it off on time. If someone cannot afford the purchase, instead put that towards a credit card and have a high interest credit card debt, that will be a very bad use. If you're using the credit card correctly, you will get the reward and also keep building your credit score. Number 4, invest only in index funds. Index funds are great. They are low cost, diversified, and historically proven they are solid investment over time, but that's not the only way to invest. I personally choose to invest in individual stocks over index funds. If I put money towards big tech companies and the companies that I've done in-depth research on, I would potentially achieve a higher return than what an index fund can offer. The point is, while index funds are a great foundation, but don't limit yourself into only investing in one thing, and diversify your investment. You can even branch out to other form of investing. Number 5, cut out all the luxuries to save money. We've all heard about this: skipping the coffee, cancel Netflix, and never go out to eat, and suddenly you got rich, right? For some reason, those behaviors are being so much encouraged in the personal finance community. But let's be real, saving money is important, but what's more important is to truly enjoy your life. Instead of cutting every little luxury, focus on spending intentionally. Ask yourself, does this purchase really bring joy? If grabbing a cup of coffee every morning makes your day feel better, it's not the worst thing in the world. But if it's just a habit, you want to be careful about it, and maybe cutting that's a good idea. The main point here is really about intentional spending. I used to be in an extreme budgeting mode where I cut almost everything, but I do not feel happy in living that constrained environment. And now I'm loosening my budget a little bit. Anything swinging between 10% is good enough for me. And that allows me to have the flexibility to take the class I want and go to the place I want to go, have the matcha latte if I think that's a great idea. The key point here is that money is just a tool in life. How to live a happy, enjoyable life is much, much more important than how much money you ended up saving. Number 6, always look for the best deals. I was definitely guilty for this. I was a person that's spending hours and hours trying to just save very small amount of money. But at the end of the day, your time and energy are very, very valuable, and they're a limited resource in your life. However, money are abundant. If you think about it, to trade your time with money is actually not the best deal. You want to be on the other side of the game, which makes the money start to work for you and allow you to unlock more of your time and energy in this life so you can truly enjoy the things that you enjoy. Number 7, paying off debt as soon as possible before investing. Debt is often seen as an evil, but not all debts are bad. If you have a high interest debt like credit card balance over 20% interest, definitely pay it off as soon as possible. But what if it's a low interest rate mortgage or car loan with 3% interest rate, and you can put that money towards stock investment or even just a high yield saving account right now generates more than 3%, and you're essentially getting free money from there. And the key is to understand the difference between the bad debt and the manageable debt. If you have high interest debt, definitely paying off quickly. But if you have low interest debt, it might be better to put the money towards investing. Okay, so those are the key popular personal finance advice that I do not follow. Everything that I mentioned above works for my own situation, and I am curious to know what are the things that you find is helpful for your personal finance journey. Leave a comment down below. I would love to chat more there with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.